Hi, welcome back to the channel. I recently bought this high mileage Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. I believe it actually might be the highest mileage Gallardo Superleggera in the world. Somebody in my last video made a comment that it isn't the highest mileage Superleggera in the world. If anyone knows of a higher mileage Superleggera, leave a comment in the description below and let me know which VIN number it is. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to see how many miles that car has on it as well. You can see how many miles this car has on it in my other video. I linked it in the description above, but that's not the point of this video. I wanted to share with you how this car, after the first day of ownership, almost tried to kill me, and how much it's going to cost to fix this car. From Lamborghini, that is. So, a little bit of backstory here. I drove the car back from Florida up to Virginia. There's a little bit of story behind that on purchasing this specific car, actually. But I'll probably detail that in a different video because that's fun in itself. But pretty scary fix. Pretty scary problem on this car. It honestly really could have killed me. So I'm gonna take it apart and I'll show you exactly what happened to this car, and maybe you can leave a comment in the description below on what we should do to fix this, because we have a couple options and I want to hear your thoughts. So let's dig into it and let's get her apart. So I got a set of jack stands specifically for this car. They're made from this company called Esco. And they're a little bit different than a normal set of jack stands because they have this rubberized pad on them, and they work really well for unibody cars. Like I have a regular jack stand here that honestly might damage this car. You can see like this is designed for a pinch weld. Maybe more for a body on frame car. I use it for my Audi, but it really isn't ideal. So I'm happy I got these. And you know, if you're ever jacking up your car, just make sure to do it safe. I never want my car to fall on me, so that's why I got these. And if you have a Gallardo or any supercar in general, you want to get yourself a good set of these. I'll link them in the description below, so pick them up if you're ever doing any work on your car. Needs to come up a little higher. You see my jack's already losing a little bit of pressure just from sitting for 30 seconds. That's why I'm not going underneath at all. The same thing for the other side as well. So I loosened up the bolts when the car was on the ground, and that made it a little bit easier to take the wheel off when I finally jacked it up. And this tire is just gigantic. I think it's a 295 section tire in the back. Oh, we got the wheel off, we can get a better look at what exactly happened to this car. And if you don't know what you're looking at, this is a carbon ceramic brake rotor. So as opposed to a typical passenger car, you would have a brake rotor that's made of iron. And that's what you typically see on most modern cars. Some cars have brake drums, but that's pretty rare, especially now. Most cars have disc brakes on all four. This one's different. It's called the carbon ceramic brake rotor. I think this was like about a $15,000 option when they came from the factory new. And the problem is, to replace these, it's going to be about $7,000 per rotor. So a very, very, very expensive problem. And the problem I was having is the fasteners for the brake rotor fell out. I've actually been in here before, and you can tell that I staggered the remaining bolts to at least drive the car a little bit. I was diagnosing some other problems, and I wanted to make sure that I fixed that, and then I could focus on this one. But there I was driving down the road, and about 1,000 miles away from home, and lo and behold, these bolts were falling out of my car. I think when I got home, I had 3 bolts left in this specific rotor. left on the car, and that's really dangerous. Like if I slammed on the brakes maybe one more time, I probably would have lost control of the car. So I'll show you exactly what broke, and we'll take this rotor off so we can all get a better look at it, and we can both maybe figure out a solution on how to fix this moving forward, because I'm really looking forward to driving the hell out of this car and just enjoying it. So I want to fix this as soon as possible, but I don't know, it might be a $30,000 problem, so we'll see. And this isn't the full extent of the damage. The full extent of the damage is actually something I have to show you on the front of the car as well, but we'll get there. So let me take off this rotor and then we'll both take a look at it. So the fronts actually still have the same issue. I think only one fastener came out on this side. You can barely see that in there. Maybe not on your end. There we go. Camera doesn't like to focus. But what sucks about this is that I think when this fastener fell out, it had a good time inside that wheel with the brake caliper. So that's always some nice, really good damage on these Superleggera wheels that are very unique to this specific car. So that's always fun too. You know, it's always good to have your brakes fail and then get damage as well. But I think these can be reconditioned. Oh, let me know what you think. I think these can be repaired, and I can get them to be looking good as new. You know, there's no leaks or anything like that, and it's only like surface level damage, but just stinks, you know. First day you get the car and something already happens to it. You might say like, well, this might be a rock chip or something, but it wasn't, because it's bilateral. It's on both sides of the vehicle, unfortunately. So we'll get it fixed though. Make it look good as new. What's so surprising about this car is that it's super easy to work on. So I already took the e-brake caliper off and stored it up back in the wheel well, and then this is hanging on by like just a couple threads, and then I have the nut holding on the actual rotor. So I got my helper here. I'm gonna take the caliper off, sweetheart, just on the top, and then you can just hold that, and then we should be good to go.
Got it.
Okay. There we go. Okay, it's loose. I'm gonna pull it off for you.
Got it.
Yeah, just hold it just like that. We don't want to strain that hydraulic line. And then we got this little bolt. Oops. Okay, there we go. Jeez. There's a little bit of thread locker on here, I think. I think so. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. I'm going to take this rotor over to the bench, and then we can throw that caliper back on. So give me just a second, sweetheart. Look at that. Okay.
How do you say it's not heavy?
The rotor isn't heavy. It's a carbon ceramic rotor. This is the caliper.
The caliper's heavy.
The caliper's not that heavy. Okay, I got it.
Jeez.
Where's that wrench? I probably hold shoulders in the dang picture too.
Oh, you can use the shoulder.
Okay. I'm just gonna throw it on just a little bit. There we go. Cool. Thanks, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. All right, let's go look at the rotor on the bench. All right, so we got the brake rotor on the bench. I just put it on an old shirt, but it's clean, so we're good. First thing I want to do is measure the thickness. I'm using a set of calipers for this, courtesy of Harbor Freight. You might say, why don't I get a set of Michitoyos? Because it's obviously a better caliper and more accurate. Now, I would love to do that, but I really just can't trust myself. I had another set of calipers, and I ended up driving an end mill straight through the power button on my CNC. So Although that would be nice to get a set of Michitoyos. I really can't trust myself. So let's just go with Harbor Freight. So this caliper actually has a minimum thickness specification on the rotor hat of 37.5 millimeters. And keep in mind that this car and this rotor, this is an original rotor that came with the car. You can also see stamped on the hat, it was manufactured week number 27 of 2007. So pretty much in line with when the car was manufactured, and with such high mileage, it should be interesting to see what the rotor actually looks like. So let's just take a quick measurement or two. I'm trying to get like away from that little ring that you might see on the rotor that might interfere with our measurement, because like there's part of the rotor that the brake pad doesn't touch, and it might throw off our measurement just a little bit, but maybe 2 or 3 spots, we'll see. I think 2 is fine. Yeah, there we go. We're looking at 38.07 millimeters. So in my opinion, you know, some guys might say you have to weigh the caliper, or not as you were, weigh the rotor on a special carbon ceramic measuring device, but you know, there's no minimum weight specification on this rotor hat that I can see, at least. There's only a minimum thickness, so that's the measurement I'm going to go off of. And I still have 0.5 millimeter left on this brake rotor. So I would really, ideally, would like to run it. Hopefully fix this. But let's take a closer look at the bolts and the hardware that fell out, and maybe we can come up with a solution on the best way to fix this, or I have to buy all new brake rotors, because this happened to all 4. All 4 of these brake rotors on my car, I had hardware missing. This was the worst one, where I only had 2 or 3 bolts remaining. And so let me get a little bit more in depth on what the hardware actually looks like, and maybe we can come up with a solution. All right, here we are. So this is what fell out of the car when I was driving. In conjunction with, oops, wrong one, stand by. Here we go. So in conjunction with this, so this actually threads into the back portion, and then it should be attached just like this inside the rotor hat. So I noticed this when I actually picked up the car. I actually visually inspected all these bolts. I'm like, okay, this is a common problem on these Gallardo Superleggeras. I'm about to drive the car a long distance. I want to make sure that they're all in there, and they were. So between the time I picked it up and the time I got it home, these fell out. And you might say, why is it a $30,000 problem? Well, what sucks about this is that you can't buy this from Lamborghini. You can't buy this anywhere. It's such a simple part. It's just really surprising. They say, you know, buy the brand new rotor. And I think that's kind of ridiculous, honestly. So my temporary fix, you might disagree with me on this or agree with me. I wanted to drive the car. I wanted to diagnose some other issues I was having with the car. I was going to document that as well. But what I did was, this rotor is extremely light, by the way. I got some different hardware for it. This is the original fastener that came on the car, and I got a new fastener that is a little bit different, has a little bit less clearance. You can see them right here. Here's one of the original ones. I have no idea where the hell this one came from. I really don't. There's like some weird fastener on it, and I'm like, what on earth? So my solution was get a bolt the same length. The head clearance is a little bit higher. I think originally it was designed to be flush with the surface, but I don't have any clearance issues with that. So I put new fasteners in on the ones that I could salvage, because yeah, and then just put them in, and then put the original hardware on the other side. And, you know, it got me down the road just a little bit, just to drive the car, you know, slowly around the street and just enjoy it just a little bit, you know, go to coffee or something like that. So that's the temporary solution I came up with. I mean, like this one, obviously, the fastener is like literally seized inside that housing, and it's going to be really hard to try to restore this one and fix it. So I don't know. What do you ladies and gentlemen think I should do? Do you think I should get all new, brand new carbon ceramics, original from the factory, for, you know, $27,000, $28,000, or should I go with a different carbon ceramic, or should I get new hardware? And you're going to say, well, you just told me that you couldn't get new hardware because Lamborghini doesn't sell it. But, well, you know, a little bit of backstory behind, you know, my experience is I formerly used to work as an aerospace engineer, and I guess looking at this, it's really not that intimidating. I've actually already reverse engineered this and designed this. So let me know what you think. Should I get this quoted out and sent out and replace all the hardware on my car, or should I go steel brake rotors? Should I do all new original carbon ceramics, or should I do an aftermarket carbon ceramic option? You know, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. It's a serious issue. And, you know, another problem is that this was actually a recall. I'll take this bolt out and I'll show you why Lamborghini won't fix it, because I think this has actually been fixed before, and I don't think Lamborghini did a very good job at all. So I actually found two different flavors, if you will, of fastener on this brake rotor. I found one that's nice and shiny and brand new, and then I found another one that is obviously original. A big difference is that this nut is only partially threaded, or bolt, as you were. This bolt is only partially threaded, and then this one is fully threaded. So it appears to me that Lamborghini already did this recall, but why they didn't replace all the original hardware is pretty dubious to me. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but they did. And so I'm stuck with half original hardware that's destroyed, and I have some good hardware that is almost brand new. So that's always fun. This is a good piece that I reverse engineered with. So I'm happy that I at least had that. It's just weird. It's just weird why Lamborghini wouldn't fix that. Like, I think it's really, really odd that they would go ahead and perform a recall service and only replace the bolts that were, I guess, that fell out at the time or were loose at the time. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think about this. It's really interesting. I mean, if you're a fellow Superleggera owner, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on this. I personally think that this should be a wear item. I think you should replace this once every 5 years at the minimum, because these rotors are meant to last. You know, I have a high mileage car and the rotors are still good. I think they should last at least 200,000 miles, if not more. Well, that is if you don't track your car. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. What do you think I should do? Thanks.